mute my mic.
No, it don't matter. Whatever. Man, just hurry up and finish. All right, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, shut up. See, we starting off on the wrong foot, and I'm not editing none of this shit out. I'm not doing that.
I'm back.
All right, this is First and Framerates podcast, episode number 37, and I am the Silent Gamer, also known as VF Baller. You can always catch any of us on Twitter. I'm going to let Bill's, his Twitter handle is Bill's Fourth. DJ is actually with us. He's had time to come through and be on the podcast, and that his Twitter handle is DJ81. And I think I said mine. If not, it's VF Baller. You can catch all of us on Twitter, but on this podcast, we talk about games and sports gaming, and we give you our honest opinion about everything. We don't have any thing over our head, no overhead. We just talk and speak our mind, and we just keep it moving. Today, we're going to talk about a few topics. One, we're going to talk about these hot routes in Madden. We're also going to talk about NBA Live, the price cut. I did make a video on that, but I got my co-hosts here with us, and we're going to have their 2 cents on that as well. And we're going to talk about some real sports and possibly some actual other non-sports gaming topics as far as just general gaming. Since DJ just came back for after his absence, and we're going to let him go first with this intro. What's going on, DJ?
Well, nothing much. I actually missed you guys. I knew that was coming. But so yeah, it's been a month went by really fast. That's how long it seems like I've been away. I'm sitting here and watching the Caps. They're up 2-0 on the Boston Bruins. They raised their banner. Now they're defending the cup instead of winning it. So
yeah, I forgot that the hockey season just started. I'm gonna make an attempt to actually follow it this year because because of you, I've actually gotten into hockey as far as gaming, but I'm actually watching now.
Mm-hmm. And then also watching. Okay, good. That was a good save. I also following the Redskins. They're 2-1. I think this week they play the Saints in New Orleans, and it's a Monday night game. So I'm definitely gonna check that out. I'm not looking forward to it because I already know what Drew Brees is about to do to our defense.
Well, if he breaks the record, I mean, there's only.
I'm not worried about the record. I'm just worried about what he can do to our defense. I don't care about no record.
Well, don't worry about it. Their defense isn't that good either.
But Jay Gruden's play calling is inconsistent. So
yeah,
because we did drop one to the Colts a couple of weeks ago, and that was
Yeah, but I think y'all got a good chance to pull it out. No worries. What about you, Bills? What's going on, man?
Chilling, and now that DJ brought that up, I'm thinking, damn, who you taking at this point? Who would have thought it was a question between Jay and John before the start of the season?
You mean Gruden?
Yeah.
I'm taking.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm taking Jay.
Yeah, I'm taking Jay now. That's what I'm saying.
I'm taking Jay, but yeah.
Before the season, I would have taken John.
Yeah, listen, I would have taken John too until he started butchering the team, and I'm like, all bets are off. This dude has no idea what he's doing.
And now apparently he thought that Khalil Mack would do absolutely nothing, when he went to Chicago. But it's neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. I mean, why would we be surprised?
Yeah, that's true. He's trying to.
But anyway,
he's trying to run this fucking Bill Parcells type team, and he doesn't have the credentials nor.
I'm not even gonna do Bill Parcells like that. Parcells would have kept Khalil Mack.
Parcells would have kept Khalil Mack, but Parcells also was a disciplinarian and a hard ass, and Gruden doesn't really have the credentials to be such.
I'll put it like this: with Khalil Mack, the way he was going through with the Raiders, I think Bill Parcells would have been the type of guy who would have pulled Khalil Mack in. He's that kind of guy.
Of course, he's more about winning than his persona will view him.
I just look at it like this: the fact that John Gruden's first move was to get rid of the punter. That's just sitting there like, okay, you come back to this huge fanfare, and your first move is one of your first moves is to get rid of what's the name, King, as the punter.
Yeah, King.
I'm just like, what's your deal? You don't like personalities?
And his reasoning was, our punter shouldn't have that much personality. He shouldn't be one of the most popular players. Go figure.
Yeah, whatever. Well, I really don't want to talk about him.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for the Browns. They should not have lost that game, but neither here nor there.
Screwed.
Yeah, they really did. since we got the outros out the way, I really want to touch on this topic about these hot routes in Madden. I mean, we always been talking about how that franchise mode could possibly be monetized by Madden 21. I know that's something I've been saying, and I can't say I'm gonna stick with it, but I would not be surprised. I'm like 80% certain that could be monetized by then. But we're looking at hot routes in Madden being monetized to where you pay for certain hot routes for certain players, and we all know it's in competition in MUT now, I think. But who's to say they won't trickle over to the offline players, or it won't, or just in sim mode in general? I have a serious problem with it because with EA and their track record of doing these type of things, I would not be surprised that we will be subjected to this, and I'm very worried about that. Bills, I'm gonna let you go first. What are your thoughts about this micro transaction as far as what they're doing with these hot routes?
Sure. Well, they're testing it on their online gamers, and what I'm afraid of is this will go beyond hot routes.
That's what I'm saying.
This will go to playbooks.
Yeah.
This will go to equipment.
Yep.
This will go to...
And, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually surprised that they haven't started with equipment first.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where we're headed, and the more people buy these hot routes and the more they support this and the more they see no problem with it, then EA will, of course, get out of control like they usually do, because if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And we've seen that.
I mean...
So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you look at these other games that EA Sports, because EA Sports have been notorious for this type of stuff with other games outside of the sports realm. Now, we all know about the Ultimate Team stuff, and we know how big that is as far as a cash cow. And you see what they did with Battlefront 2, and then you see what happened with Battlefield 5, which honestly, if Battlefield 5 would have just kept the same model that they did with Battlefield 4, I won't see where it was been an uproar with it. But, that's a different story. But you see what they've been doing with Need for Speed Payback, where it was literally like a slot machine to get certain things. I mean, it's just the whole microtransaction loot box thing has been going crazy, and there's been a lot of backlash for the past, year and a half. So for Madden to do this, I mean, it's like, if people are willing to open their wallets, we as sports gamers could be in serious trouble. And it's just going to take the organic gameplay out of it, whether if you're an online gamer or not. And based on what I've heard, there are people who are actually paying for these hot routes to get that competitive edge. I mean, what are you supposed to do? If a couple people buy these hot routes and they're beating you over the top, or they're just beating you in general because they have an advantage, what are you going to do? You're going to open your wallet too. So it is something that has me seriously worried about, sports gaming in general, because you have basketball games out here that can possibly do the same thing. It could just trickle over very easily, especially if the money's coming in. Because if the money's coming in, there's no stopping them. You got anything else on that, Bills? Because after that, I'm gonna jump to DJ.
Well, the other thing is, what happens when there are glitches and they're easily exploitable, not just online but offline? What happens when the computer starts using them?
Right. Yeah, that's another thing. You didn't even think about it. What if the computer uses that hot route and they're telling you if you want to combat that, you have to pay for it? What if there's a defensive scheme you have to pay for just to, combat that hot route that's already you have to pay for, but the CPU is using?
I can see it happening now. You know how they throw that MUT overlay up after every game you exit? Did you get beat over the top by Julio? Go into MUT and find out how to stop it. Like, come on, bro.
Or not only that, they'll just say, here's the play that'll give you this type of coverage so you can combat that.
And then throw some card in as a bargain. You can get this card. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's
a serious problem that, I don't know if anybody's really thinking about, because, I mean, if it's... I'll say if this was like a Ubisoft thing and, you really can't trust them, or just say if it was a Konami thing, you can't trust them either with just the games in general. But just say if it was another company that was doing this, you'd be like, all right, we'll see where this goes. I'm not sure. But EA has been notorious for nickel and diamond people. I'm seriously worried about it. What about you, DJ?
Well, knowing that I haven't played Madden almost within this month time I've been away from the podcast, coming back after the latest October patch, calling the plays and seeing that there was an actual number associated with a hot route, like where there was one. I don't think I've seen more than one, and that it caught my eye. I was just like, "What is this about?" And
so explain to people exactly what that is, because I don't want anybody to speculate. Like, what does that number that you saw? What do you thought that meant, or what does it mean?
I thought it was number of hot routes I have available. That was my first thought when I saw it, because I didn't see anything in the patch notes. Maybe I kind of skimmed through the patch notes to see what upgrades were patched in. But when I seen that, I immediately thought, is that how many hot routes I have available? Like, that was the question that came to mind. I'm like, I really don't know for sure. And I would like either Clint, A-Dub, or whoever to explain that, or Smitty, Sim, somebody to explain that to me, because if that's from what you've been explaining, I'm like, if that's the direction that they're going in, if they're testing this out, limiting the number of hot routes that a user can do online, especially for competition, then I'm not gonna like where this is going, and I will probably spend another month away from the game. Yeah, and it's not an empty threat. I will literally not play the game for another month, knowing that this game is going in that direction.
I mean, I feel you. I haven't played in a month either, but I mean, I don't even want to repeat myself, but I just had a backlog that I've been dealing with. I've been playing other games. But my thing is like, with the online gamers, I know they've been trying to say they're going to try to curtail hot routes because of the exploits or money plays or just glitches that they've been going head to head to people. I get it. But see, you're an offline gamer. And for you to have that number, or you're looking like the number of hot routes you could do offline, this is two things I can think of. One, these hot routes are limited, and we already know that they got special hot routes. Who's to say that you can't pay for how many times you can hot route in a game or on a play? Oh, you buy this and you can do 4 hot routes. And if you're an offline gamer and they're trying to curtail your hot routes, then who's to say, hey DJ, we see a 1 right here for this hot route. How would you like 3? Well, pay this amount. You have 3 in for a play.
Screw that.
See, that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have to pay for a hot route. Like I said, I think this could be a serious problem. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Madden. I think Madden is taking strides as far as gameplay goes. This is a very good football game this year, despite what some people may say, or they disagree. You disagree, that's fine. But when you're looking at the scope of nickel and diamond players, just for them to have certain functions in the game that an actual quarterback would do on the field, as far as play calling goes, setting audibles, that's a problem. I mean, you will never see a Tom Brady or Drew Brees trying to, shell out some money to his offensive coordinator just to run another hot route for his receiver. But that'll never happen in real life.
But just to throw out a joke in real life, it did happen in real life. Kirk Cousins, he got paid all that money. You see how many touchdowns he's thrown?
Oh God,
he wasn't doing that. He didn't do that last year with the Redskins when they wouldn't pay him. But I'll just leave it at that.
What if you want?
I think all that 99 club crap is not going away. It'll probably be monetized next year.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, those are the things, they take these little small things and they just push it onto us, and then before you know it, you look back and like, hold up, I remember when all this stuff was free. Well, now you got 20 things that's monetized now. There's no turning back at that point. So I think this is something that people really need to say something.
And they have a history of testing things.
Exactly.
Look at Draft Champions. Now it's inside of mud.
And Draft Champions was brilliant when it came out in Madden 15. It was great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about the gateway to mud. I'm just talking about the concept of it was great. It was basically all pro. It was basically all pro 2K8 and Madden.
Hey, it's like we said, add a full season so we can play against other teams like that. We'll be golden. Nah, we're gonna hide it inside of mud.
Yeah, that's basically what's going on. So it really sucks. I think we're good on that topic. Let's jump to another one real quick. NBA Live. I made a video about this. Live is now under $30 on PlayStation Plus. I still don't know if Xbox get the discount, but just in general, this is a problem as well.
Right.
The NBA season hasn't even started yet, and this game is on a discount. I'm not saying that the sales are bad, but I think that the sales are less than expected. Bills, I'll let you go first the first time about the hot routes or whatever. So I'm gonna let DJ go first about Live. Live is $23.99 if you have PlayStation Plus. What are your thoughts about that?
Still not getting it.
Oh God! Come on, man.
We all said that in our thread too.
I know. I'm like the only one that bought the damn game. I feel terrible, you know.
I just look at it like this. That's pathetic.
It really is.
It's piss poor.
They couldn't escape
pathetic.
September.
It's just one of those things. I think it's a direct correlation, not because of the gameplay. I think it's the fact that you keep giving away units. That's money that EA keeps throwing away. And EA throwing away money? What type of marketing? What type of method is allowing this to happen?
Yeah.
With the game, because the reason I don't have actual numbers in front of me, but if you're giving away mad units before the game even comes out, you already are behind the 8 ball when it comes to expecting. But I'm sure this is calculated because we all know EA is a calculating type of business.
Yeah.
So they calculated how many free units they were going to give away. They probably knew they weren't going to make that much money on the game itself. So it's just like, you know what, it is what it is, and we're going to get a little boost because we're going to have it on sale almost a month and pretty much a couple of weeks before the regular season, and then we're going to get another boost in around Black Friday.
Yeah, I think
it'll probably be cheaper.
I think Black Friday is going to be $19.99, and probably Christmas is probably be $9.99. Or I'll even say this, I'll say around the All-Star break, it's going to be around $9.99 at the latest.
Shoot, I wouldn't be shocked if it appears on PSN for free.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, God.
Let me tell you something.
Well, Live 18 was $4.99 at one point.
Bro, that shit's going to be in the EA Access vault by the end of next month.
No, man.
Terrible.
I'm telling you.
Oh, man.
Dude, they couldn't get through 3 full weeks with this game out?
I'm sorry, you can't damage control that. I don't care how big of a live fanboy folks out here are, but you can't. No.
A lot of people in the live community, prominent names, a lot of people in the EA community, prominent names, are speaking out against this game.
Yeah.
And they have every reason to. Like you said, the game came out simcade, arcade at best. They put out a patch and fixed it, but you still got the issues with franchise, which makes you not really want to play franchise. And I haven't bought it because of that.
Yeah, the franchise mode is okay, but it's okay because of what the patch did. When that game first came out, and me and Bills went back and forth with this, that game was catered to street ball so bad that the NBA players in NBA games were playing like it was street ball. Nobody was running plays. Everybody just running down, catch and shoot. There was no logic. You had players that, you had like play like JJ Redick, for instance, because I played against the 76ers. You had JJ Redick literally 10 for 10 in the first quarter on 3-pointers. Like, you know how it is when people play street ball. They're more loose and they're really into the game, so they'll shoot at a higher percentage because it's more like an arcade style when you're playing street ball. That game was literally catered to that. Ben Simmons would come down, pass, shoot. There was no running plays. There was nobody trying to, do any exploits, or not exploits, but mismatches or anything like that. Nobody was like playing real ball. It was terrible. But the franchise mode is okay as far as the patch made it, but the actual mode itself, all the intricacies of it is so bland. It's basically unplayable. But it's terrible.
I'll tell you another reason why it's unplayable. There are no, unless somebody can produce a video, and I've put this out there many times for multiple lives. Can someone show me where someone actually gets hurt while you're playing a game?
That don't happen. You know what I saw in NBA 2K, and it's not about live in 2K or whatever. I saw, I think it was WTFOS, because he plays with the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? He's a big Minnesota Timberwolves guy. He showed where Karl Anthony Towns got hurt. He injured his hand while fighting for the ball. I think it was a jump ball or something like that. But they was tussling for the ball, and the ref called it a jump ball, but he hurt his hand in the process. I mean, stuff like that is some, and I know we're in this generation, but that's some next gen shit right there. That's awesome.
I have my video that I showed a young lady because she hollered out she didn't, in her experience, she didn't see any real-time injuries in 2K. I had to produce the Markieff Morris video where a dude went for a jump shot, came down, collapsed on his leg, suffered a ankle sprain in game. So I was just like,
I mean,
you don't see that in live.
Everything in live is just basically simulated. There are injuries in the game, but it's straight simulated. And if you're playing with a certain team, like say for me, I'm like 4 games in my franchise on NBA Live, just to play around with it. No injuries have happened in game, so none of my players are hurt. But if you go like to the injury report, because there's actually an injury report in live now, you go there, it's like all the other teams got 1 or 2 players injured. I'm like, okay, I get it, because if you want injuries in your franchise, that's the only way it's really going to happen for other teams. But your team they're never going to get injured, unless if you simulate a game and then you be like, oh shit, I was just simulating the game so I don't have to play a whole 82, and now you got 3 people injured because it was simulated. I mean, that ain't cool,
But you know what? There is context. There is precedent behind it, because NHL goaltenders still don't get hurt in game.
Okay.
Madden, up until a couple of seasons ago, the offensive linemen weren't getting hurt in game until they included off-ball injuries.
But you know what though? So a lot of injuries really didn't occur in Madden until like it had to be like Madden 12. Because before then, if your user team never really got injured, and I think that's one thing that NCAA 14, some people still play that college game. That game has that issue too. If you have a user team that you're using, they rarely get injured. They'll get injured, but they'll be out for like a quarter or a couple plays. But I'm talking about like real long-term injuries that really happen. You rarely have that, So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Now, I got something that I want to do real quick that we probably haven't really done on the show, but I have a tweet that I'm getting. I'm discussing this with Mark Rader right now, and it was because my tweet that I put out earlier was about on the field. I said Madden was an all-time great game this year. He says, that's a little much, all-time great, not hardly. Now, to me, I don't think anybody can debate that the running has never been like this in any other game.
Madden 25.
Madden 25 is probably the only one.
Right.
And then everything else that they have in this game, the way the game plays, I just don't think you can find many games in the history of sports gaming, or football gaming, I should say, that would top this. What do y'all think about that?
I think, honestly, I'm not even going to address what you're saying because I already know you're right. But Mark Rader just has a problem with Madden. We already know that. I mean, I ain't got nothing against him, but we already know his skill level with Madden. So I'm not even.
And that was part of what I said in response to him. I was like, just because you can't run the ball in the game doesn't mean that the game doesn't do a lot of great things well that past games have failed quite frankly.
I ran for 153 with a third string running back because I just knew what to do with the offensive line and how to pick and choose where I'm going to run through the gaps. I mean, that's basic football. Now this was a time where Madden really did have a problem with the running, and but that was more CPU based. But they had a problem. But if you know what you're doing, if you use your mind, which I was talking about with my backlog and the certain games I've been playing, like playing those games without all these tweaks and stuff, really challenge you. If you could challenge yourself to actually learn how to run the ball, you can be successful. This was pre-patch. So I haven't played it post-patch. So, I mean, for him, I'm not knocking him or whatever because maybe he feels a certain way. But let's be honest, he's been on a record for, like, having frustrations with Madden, doing some of the basic stuff that comes along with football.
And the thing is, when you bring up legacy issues, which he also brought up, it's like NBA 2K19 might be the greatest, like, top to bottom, maybe the greatest sports game of all time.
I can agree with that.
They still have legacy issues.
Right.
So it's like, you can't you can't knock. I mean,
I think
Madden 08 is one of the greatest Maddens of all time. Got to be top 3.
Madden 08 definitely. Yeah, my only knock.
Legacy issues, plenty
in Madden 08. Yeah, absolutely. My only knock on NBA 2, and I know that's really really small. This would be easily the greatest game of all time if they had the TNT presentation. That's like the only problem with that game. And if that's the only problem you have, you really don't have a problem.
I agree. I think not having a true to life TV presentation hinders it just a little bit, especially when you know where they're headed with it. You pretty much know you got all of TNT's people.
Right.
So I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's my only knock on the game. The presentation, like, say what you want about NBA Live. NBA Live knocked down the ESPN presentation, damn near almost as good as NBA, almost as good as NFL 2K5, if not better. It's probably better. The only
halftime show is really good. Post game show is really good.
Right. It's like that in NBA 2K. I mean, that NFL 2K5 is like neck and neck, and I might give Live the actual nod because of the way it's presented. Now, I will say NFL 2K5 has it beat with the Sports Center aspect. That was some legendary shit still to this day. But still, it's like they're up there with the presentation. If 2K19 or 2K20 gets a presentation like that, like with TNT, or let's say if they did get, and I know this would never happen, but it would be beautiful if they had NBA on NBC. If they had something like that, it'd be great. You know what I mean? You know, but I don't know. I don't have anything else to add with this NBA Live thing. I know we kind of went a little further with we went off a little further, but it was still good commentary. But I think at the end of the day, I'll say All-Star break. What are your predictions of the price drop will be by All-Star break, DJ?
Free.
I already told you EA Access Vault.
So both of y'all basically saying it's going to be free on Xbox, and DJ saying it's going to be given away on both platforms.
Everything.
I'm gonna sit there and say, I'm gonna be general. I'm gonna say $7. I'll say $7.99, between $4 and $7.99. Because I mean they're already at $23. I mean they'll be $19.99 by Black Friday. Yeah.
The fact
if people are paying more for a fish fillet than your game, you seriously need to.
But this is the problem. They dropped the price on this, and they still can't reach 500,000 sales.
But you know what? If the fact that No Man's Sky still is around 60 and Live is already,
You know, I give No Man's Sky some respect because even though everything that happened with that game, they actually turned that game around to be something. I give them kudos for that.
Yeah, I'm still playing that game, by the way.
A lot of other people are too. I noticed. That's why I say I give them a lot of respect for they made it right. And a lot of game companies don't do that to their games. They don't make it right. They just let you deal with it, and the game dies, and then they'll try to make a sequel and say, "Oh, we did this," and you know it's like a cycle. I give them a lot of respect for that.
My other prediction that I have is that I think they will add edit player into franchise mode, and it'll be too late by the end of the cycle.
I definitely agree with that. I can agree with that. They will probably do that around late after Christmas or before Martin Luther King Day. Between that time, they'll add it in, they'll patch it in, but by then it'll be like nobody cares at this point.
Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Yeah.
Man.
I got one last thing, and this will finish off Live because a small roast is in order.
Free God.
For Hollywood Sports.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? Please tell me about this because I have no idea what y'all are talking about. I know you said about this earlier.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to just read the tweet that he put out. This was, I forgot, it was like a day ago I responded to this, but Hollywood Sports, and I quote, said this: "In my opinion, Live 19 is worth 60 because if you knew how much effort goes, and we'll focus on that later, into programming this game to act like real people and all the updates the game has, if you personally had to work on the game, you would say the game is worth $100. We take these games for granted." Now, I understood where he was coming from, but my response to him was, we're saying this now?
It's not even that. It's like, I understand where you come from, but I think you got the wrong game, bro.
This is the standard now.
Like,
the standard is they're trying.
No. You know what? I'm glad you said that's why I love this podcast. We don't give kudos to companies that try. Fuck that. We don't do that.
Nope.
No, I'm dead serious.
Trophies out here,
I'm dead serious. I don't give my money out to companies that try. I don't. The only company I give that an exception to, the only one, and I know you guys will understand this. Y'all probably won't follow my practice. The only company I did that to was Axis Football. Because
that makes sense.
I can understand.
Because I know that guy came out and he said, "Look, I'm the only guy doing this game. The game's only $15. I need help to make the game better. If y'all don't want to support, that's fine." And he was honest about it. And every time something was wrong with the game, he came through and made updates for it to fix it. That's the only exception I gave, because it wasn't like a AAA title. This man was actually trying to make an alternative. I will always respect somebody who's trying to do something like that. But you talking about a company that got billions of dollars trying to nickel and dime everybody for other games, and you got a staff like that with a bunch of people, and you're talking about, no, get out of here with that. No, that's some bullshit. We don't give participation trophies for that. No, absolutely not.
Now, that was the first part. Bills, you want to tell them the second part?
The second part of what?
Of why we're roasting Hollywood sports? Because that was the one you caught.
Okay, so usually everybody knows I'm like a big stickler on grammar and spelling on Twitter. I be messing with people all the time, especially Charter. Shout out to Charter. So the worst part was he spelled goes GO''.
Yo, I saw that. What was that all about? I saw that, but I didn't know what you was referring to.
So I'm like, bro, you're making this too easy. You're making this too easy, my dude.
So he said goes GO' instead of GOES.
Go is.
Oh God.
Or go was.
So Hollywood, I know you're a good sport.
Definitely.
So
great guy.
No, we defend.
You don't have to be Compton Sports to take that joke, so that's another little.
It's 5-minute videos about us, bro. We already had somebody else who disappeared from the community do that to us a long time ago.
NWO, huh? NWO.
Right.
Coming around with these clicks and think they're doing this. Let me stop. That ain't right. We were supposed to not do it. We were supposed to do that. Scratch that. Now keep it. Now,
we all just having fun, especially having all three of us together for the first time in a month.
This is what we do.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
All right, but moving on.
All right, we're gonna talk about some real NFL stuff. I mean, I was looking at this game.
Oh wait a minute! Breaking news: Caps are now up 4-0.
I called that going off the rails after the first goal, and I told DJ, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a coronation tonight rather than an actual game. And as you can see, 4-0 is pretty much that. What is it, the second period?
Well, this fourth goal that was scored, you wouldn't believe how it went in. The dude basically spun backwards, backhand, and the puck just bounced in.
Oh, Jesus.
I wouldn't be surprised if they pull Tuca out the net.
Play with an empty net. It'll be better defense than him.
Pretty much.
I really need to get into hockey, man, because I kind of felt lost in. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I've watched the Stanley Cup Finals, and for the most part, and I thought it was really entertaining. So I'm gonna look at the season, man. I really am. The NFL, for instance, I've been looking at this Pat Mahommes kid, and I actually like what I see. I mean, this guy, I know it's real early. I don't know how things will be, but when I saw that Broncos game, he played his lights out, and I have to give kudos to that guy. I lived in Kansas from '98 to '99. I lived in Topeka, Kansas, over my 10th grade year of high school, and those guys that are in the Kansas City area, they really love their Chiefs a lot, and one thing I can say about Pat Mahomes, he looks like he fits in to that whole, just that whole atmosphere that surrounds the Kansas City area. and he just looks like one of the guys that just fits in. And I don't know where he's from or whatever, but I can't speak for my team. I haven't given up on the Falcons, but I just can't. I just can't. But this kid,
I'll tell you,
this kid Pat Mahomes he looks like he's the real deal. I don't expect any of y'all to comment on it or whatever, but I just want to.
Oh no, I have a lot to say.
I just give my 2 cents. I really like this kid. I like him a lot.
Well, he's from Tyler, Texas, just to throw that in.
Okay.
And he went to White House. The high school he went to was at White House, and he came out of Texas Tech.
Yeah, I know he came out of Texas. I do know that.
All right, and he was drafted in the first round, pick number 10, just last year. So yeah, just a little background.
And they moved up to get him, and a lot of people was like, "What the hell?" And they're like, "Now you kind of see what's going on." Andy Reid looks like a genius right now. I mean, the way he
always looks like a genius.
Yeah, but the way he constructed that team, they look really good. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I did not know what's that kid number 10? Oh, not Kareem Hunt. He's number 27. The other kid.
Number 10, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. I did not know he was a receiver. I just thought he was another running back. But
bro,
the way they put him in the slot, I mean, he's excellent. I really like what they got going on.
I'll say this about Mahomes, and this is high praise. Not many people do I say I can't miss this game. But with him, like, it's like no matter what I'm watching, if I'm playing a game, like, I have to turn it off and watch him.
He's becoming that type of player.
It's special, dude.
Yeah, he's really becoming that player. I haven't got to that point yet, like must-see TV. But what I saw on Monday night, I'm starting to lean like, he could be that guy easily, hands down.
You know what it's like? It's like when everybody was hearing about Johnny Football. Okay.
Oh my God.
And then,
Jesus. Wasted talent, yo.
Bro, when he beat Alabama, and everybody was like, "Okay, we gotta watch this kid." I remember the very next Saturday, I tuned in, and it was just he lived up to the hype.
And even the second time when he went up against Alabama, he still lit them up. He lost that game, but he lit them up the second time. It's like I don't even want to talk about Johnny Manziel. I was like, if he just kept his fucking head down,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? People want to talk shit about he's this that. His ability never was the problem. And me and Bills was like the only people in the gaming community that contested. His ability never was the problem. It's the other shit that fucked him up, and that it disappoints me. Him and Josh Gordon's fine now, but at the time it was them just like those two could have been a dynamic duo if they would have just kept their head on straight at the time.
And that's the thing. It's like Mahomes. I mean, it's just I watched that game against Denver. And Denver's defense is one of the best defenses in the league. And he was making it look in that third and fourth quarter like he was unfazed.
See, that's what exactly. That's what it was. The first quarter, I was like, because everybody expected him to just go in and light it up like he did the other teams. And what he did was he bogged down. He understood what was going on. I'm pretty sure for the most part he listened to his coaches, what young quarterbacks should do. Came in the second half and executed. That what makes great players. Those are, I mean, because we've seen, and people have their issues with this. We've seen Peyton Manning do that at some time. We've definitely seen Tom Brady do it. We've seen the other great quarterback, but for him to do it at this young age right now, I mean, Matt Ryan was a sensation. Joe Flacco was a sensation their rookie year, but I haven't seen him do stuff like this at this time.
And the reads he made in that last drive to score against Denver, I mean, first you got the left-handed throw when Von Miller's chasing him, which was just, come on, really?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he made another read to hit Kelsey up the seam. I mean, pre-snap adjustments, setting up the blocking, knowing what play to call, knowing where the blitz is coming from. It's just like he's special, man. That's all I can say. He's special.
Yeah, I'm really loving what I see. DJ, you got any thoughts about Pat?
I know somebody made a comparison to RG3 in 2012 to how quickly he's come on, but I think the advantage here, one, Pat Mahomes is a bigger player, so if he were to scramble, he could take a hit or two. And also the fact that he sat behind a veteran in Alex Smith, who's now in Washington.
That helped. That helped a lot.
That definitely helped tremendously. I bet you if Griffin had sat behind a veteran, and even Cousins, if they had sat behind a veteran for at least one season, they would have been straight.
Yeah,
but
it goes a long way. It's one of the underrated things people don't really think about anymore. I mean, I think you have players that just come in right away and just have success. You know, they think every quarterback should do that, but that's not for every quarterback. I mean, like I said, you had the Matt Ryans who came in as a rookie and did something. You had the Joe Flacco's. You had the RG3s. You had the Russell Wilsons. You had those guys who just come in and just, you know, those 5 quarterbacks kind of like set the tone. Now every quarterback needs to do that. Now you're about to see a Josh Allen about to, you know, pretty much tank and mess up, and you're going to have like Josh Rosen, another one. He's not going to be as successful. But I mean, you have Baker Mayfield's going to do his thing, but he's almost like that same type of player that, you know, you had when the RG3s, the Matt Ryans, all those guys came out. He has that type of, you know, that demeanor about him that he's going to make the plays. Not every quarterback is like that. Some of them need to sit behind somebody for at least half a season at the minimum. You know, but I mean, Pat Mahomes is like absolutely fantastic. I really love what I see. Anything else y'all want to add to that before? And, you know, it's like one little small little segment that we do, like what football games that surprised us this week, and we're gonna go into.
Oh, just real quick, the one last thing is Le'Veon Bell is rumored to be coming back week 7.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So that's gonna be something to watch for sure.
What do you think about that, real quick? I mean, I
think his teammates begged him and got on their knees and was like, "Look, I know you hate the organization, but we need you."
See, after the Earl Thomas thing,
that's what I was thinking too.
That's what I was saying. Like, after the Earl Thomas thing, I'm like, dog. I'm like,
we're gonna see another player sticking the middle finger to management.
I'm telling you, let me tell you, if that dude gets hurt when he comes back,
I hope he doesn't come back now.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, I heard that he's coming back, but I'm like, I just saw Earl Thomas just like get screwed. I mean, the guys at the front office of Seahawks are probably like laughing and clapping their asses off, which is malicious as shit. But, you know, that's the type of shit that you have to deal with now. And it's a cause to pause, man. If I was Le'Veon, I'd be like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Especially at his position.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to take punishment all that. And we're not just talking about a broken leg. He could have like a serious concussion. He could have a shoulder injury. Yep. He could have an arm injury. You know, something really serious could happen to him where he can't perform as a running back. Anyway, any games in the NFL or college or anything that surprised you guys this week? And I guess at the end of that, we can just close it out. DJ, what about you?
Well, I got who played in that final game. I don't think it was a final game, but the game that featured a failed hook and ladder at the end.
Oh, Lord.
I was really surprised at the play call, being a person that has participated in a play like that.
Right.
And, you know, my time when I did it, it was for a state championship, and we pulled it off.
There really was no need for that play. The Broncos should have known better.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, oh, this is not going to look good. I'm like, I didn't even think it was the original intent. It's the way it played out. It just... the timing was just way off for that to be successful.
Yeah.
And for the fact that the defender got his hand in there, so it's just like, yeah, you should have just ate the ball, just held on to it, just focused on the catch, gone down, got up, spiked the ball, and we gave it one more play. They were down by...
They're down by 4. They're down by 4. I think it was 27-23.
They would have to go for the touchdown.
Yeah, they would have to go for the touchdown. Right. But I'm with you. I think that's one game. I have a game for my own, but I think that game did surprise, you know, a lot of people. A lot of people didn't expect Pat Mahomes to come out and just really light it up in the second half. I mean, because it was a good game in general, but it was a real good defensive struggle for like the first 2.5 quarters.
Right.
What about you, Bills?
The game that surprised me the most, honestly, was the Vikings and the Rams, and it wasn't the result. It was the quality of football that we saw in that game between two teams that very well might be in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I really
mean,
I like what I like what
yeah.
the Rams did. They look really good.
I mean, Sean McVay just proven once again that I don't even call him a prodigy because he's not like 15 years old or anything.
Better than Jay Gruden play calling.
I mean, other than Josh McDaniels, as far as offensive minds right now in the NFL, I think it's Sean McVay. I mean, he knows exactly where to put these pieces. Like Cooper Kupp came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd Gurley, I mean, we saw what happened when Jeff Fisher was the coach. I mean, you should have friggin' got him on attempted murder the way he had Todd Gurley running the ball in obvious run situations. Everybody knew where he was going to be. So it's like now you got Sean McVay, and the maturation of Jared Goff has been great because of Sean McVay. And
yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, Jeff Fisher damn near made Jared Goff look like a bust.
Look like a bust.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'll be honest, I was questioning at one point. I was looking, I was like, yo, this dude is not. Because they had like Carson Wentz like running circles around this dude. Now, don't get me wrong, Carson Wentz is good. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not be surprised that Jared Goff ended up being the better quarterback at the end of the day. I mean, this dude, Carson Wentz improvises very well. He improvises very well to the point where he makes plays.
Yep.
Jared Goff, he's just coming off as just a pure passer. And it looks
throw ready.
Yes, and it looks beautiful when it comes off of his arm.
He makes throws that most pros can't make. Yo.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like nothing to disrespect to Wentz, because Wentz says he's proven that he's that guy. But when you look at Wentz plays, it's like Wentz is more like he's improvising, like he's trying to make plays off of instinct, and it's great because you want your quarterback to do that, especially when you're in the pocket or whatever.
Right.
Jared Goff just looks like, his mind is already churning before the play is even snapped.
Definitely.
Like his mind is already. He look at the defense like, okay, I know this, and this. 4 years from now, this guy could probably be. I ain't gonna say 4. Probably a year from now, you think you're seeing something now. This guy could probably seriously be lighting it up in a year or so.
And for a quarterback so young, I would compare this to I know DJ watched pretty much every game that season of RG3. They don't hold the ball too long.
No. And I mean, that just goes back to possibly great play calling, just setting them up, or it could be just him, like I said, knowing what's going on before the play is called. It's like, to be a quarterback, I mean, I'm not a quarterback aficionado or nothing, but I know the quarterbacks who are just great, they see things before it happened. And the way that he's playing, it just looks like that's what he's doing. I'll say this, in that game he played against the Vikings, it looked like that was going on.
I mean, some of the places he was putting those throws, and the thing where I was going with this was him and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was making some throws to Stephon Diggs and to Thielen. I mean, those are really, really small margin of error throws.
Right.
Those were DLC throws that he was making?
DLC throws. That's exactly what they were. They were Pro Pack Diamond.
Kirk Cousins. Don't give EA ideas. They're already doing hot routes. don't give them ideas.
But I mean, just great defense on both sides, getting beat by better throws, and I saw some really nice routes ran, a lot of nice route combinations, which points to the play call, and just overall, it was a really solidly played game.
Yeah,
and you left that game not thinking that either team was really that much better than the other, which makes me want to see it again.
Right.
Down the road.
I think for me, I mean, the Pat Mahommes plays, that game was very entertaining. It's one of that one, and like you said, the Rams game, where they're like two very entertaining games, and they're probably like the best games to watch this week. But so for me on the NFL level, that was the Broncos and Chiefs game was definitely the surprise for me. I love the way that game played out. Both teams did. One team had to lose. It kind of sucks for the Broncos because that is a divisional game. But outside of the dumbass plays within the last 4 or 5 minutes, they have nothing to hang their head on. They played a pretty good game. If you play them again, you have a chance to knock them out of Kansas City, which is like highly unlikely at this point. But from week to week, the NFL changes. One thing that nobody talks about that game, the running game of Denver. Denver running game was really good that game. I mean,
that Freeman dude is better than I thought he was.
That's what I was saying. Royce Freeman was like dragging dudes like on not just one play, like a couple of plays. He was like running hard, and he doesn't look no bigger than 5'10", 190. But dude looked like he's running like 6'2", 230. I like that type of stuff. They lost, but it's not like it's a divisional game. But I mean, this is something that you can see years to come. Both teams are fairly young. The Broncos going to need another quarterback. Case Keenum is sort of young, but they're going to need another quarterback. But it looked like a pretty good rivalry going on there. But my game that really surprised me, and I know a lot of y'all don't even watch this game because I watch it because I have access to watch this game. I love the way my Georgia Southern Eagles beat Arkansas State. Y'all did not watch that game. That game was a fantastic game from start to finish. Came down to 19 seconds in the game. Great running play that was done by Wesley Kennedy III, which is, I know him personally. His grandfather is I don't go to the church anymore, but his grandfather is my pastor when I was living in Savannah, Georgia. So I know him and his family very well, and I'm great to see him playing for Georgia Southern. Broke off a 60-something yard run with 19 seconds left to beat Arkansas State. And this quarterback they got for Arkansas State, it's a Sun Belt team, but this kid's probably going to end up playing NFL. He 6'4", 230, gunslinger for an arm. He needs to go to the combine and try to show off his talents. He looks really good. But on top of that, the quarterback we have is actually showing off his arm. Could be probably a really good dual threat quarterback in the Sun Belt. And I know it's a little small school, it's a little small game, but I was very pleased that my Georgia Southern Eagles pulled off that win. We were the underdogs in that game. And despite getting tore up by Clemson last week, or the week before, they showed some adversity and did not let a really good quarterback. I can't remember his name, but he's very good. But
the guy that got knocked out just recently.
What, for Arkansas State?
No, for Clemson. Their quarterback.
Oh, Kelly Bryant. I talked about him last week. The
backup was the one that got knocked out. Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the Clemson. I'm talking about the Arkansas State quarterback. You guys don't really know him, but I've been looking at the scouts. Like, a lot of people are really high on this guy. I doubted if he would be like a top quarterback in the draft, but he has the size and the arm to actually be a good quarterback. I think he threw for like 300 yards on us. I mean, a really good quarterback. But that game surprised me because I didn't expect us to win. And that game, out of all of them, really surprised me. It was a very good win for Georgia Southern to start off the Sun Belt Conference. And I have not much more to say about it. I'm really impressed with what these guys are doing. You got to think about it. We played a game. Well, our last season, we went like 2-10. It was like our worst season last year, and we're already 3-1 this season. So with the recruiting and the change of a coach, really changed the dynamic of that team. And outside of these bullshit ass Falcons, man, I got something to hang my hat on because I'm really disappointed in the Falcons. I mean, they're losing games. I mean, I understand injuries. We done lost another good defensive guy on defense. But still, I mean, the offense is not a problem, and we just keep losing games by like 1-2 games. It's fucking terrible. I don't know where else to go with that. But
and just a side note, Pat's got Edelman coming back this week. I don't want any excuses about not lighting up the Colts this week. We're in Gillette. We got Gordon. Hopefully Gronk plays. If he doesn't, we still got Edelman coming back. There should be no excuses. I'm tired of these Patriots fans making up these just crazy scenarios why we're not winning. We're not winning because we suck.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing with the Falcons. I mean, there's no problem with the offense. I mean, I remember last year they were saying the Falcons couldn't score. I mean, we went from 33 in 2016, 33-34 a game, went down to 24 a game. I mean, this past few games, I mean, we scored 37 or something like that. And this past game, we scored 36. I mean, the offense is not a problem. Calvin Ridley is awesome. This dude could be rookie of the year. I think he already has like 6 touchdowns this season already as a rookie. I mean,
he gotta have an argument for sure early.
Yeah, for rookie. I mean, the offense is great. I mean, we lose Deion Jones, we lost Keanu Neal, we lost our other free safety. We just lost our
Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, we lost
we
lost Devontae Freeman. We lost Grady Jarrett, our starting defensive tackle. I mean, we're like dropping people left and right on defense, and I understand it, but still, I mean, we still should be winning these games. And this is some other bullshit that I don't understand. We lose 2 of our safeties, and Eric Reed gets signed by the Panthers. Why we didn't go after Eric Reed? I don't care about the baggage. You need players. You know, see, this is the type of shit where the Falcons won't win the division. I'm calling it now. I don't think they'll win. I mean, they're already 1-3 in last place, but I don't want to leave this podcast on a bad note. But it's just mind-boggling shit. You know, go Georgia Southern. You know, go Georgia Southern.
Here's a good note to lead this podcast on. Red Dead Redemption.
Yes,
is coming out
October 26th. Definitely. I have a backlog, 26th. But I might have to pick that one up.
That one I'm definitely getting.
Yeah, I'm
definitely getting that.
I have a backlog.
And for those of y'all who haven't seen early gameplay footage, don't really know much about it, make sure to watch the 2 gameplay trailers. They go over a lot of stuff. Trust me, if you're not usually interested in those type of games, I would definitely give it a try. Redbox it, whatever you got to do.
I'm not even looking at the trailer. See, I did the same thing with The Last of Us too. I didn't look at nothing in that game. Crystal, my wife, she looked at the trailer because she fell in love with The Last of Us. She watched me play it from start to finish. So she watched the trailer and she told me about it. But I was like, I don't want to watch it. Same thing with Red Dead Redemption. I don't want to watch the trailer. I want to be surprised as soon as I put the game in and start playing. But I do recommend people who are, not even on the fence. I do recommend people to watch it and watch both of the gameplay trailers. I've seen a little bit of it on Twitter because it was on Twitter. I looked at the game looks phenomenal. The game looks great, and this is Rockstar finally putting the game out on the next gen console. It's still unbelievable that Grand Theft Auto 5 is it's a last gen game, and that game is still being sold the way it is. It's just unbelievable.
But you know what? And also for the fact, I think this is the first straight up 100 gig plus game.
Yeah, it is. That and Black Ops 4, those two.
And Black Ops 4 is going to be the second one. Well, first one, actually, I'll take that back.
Okay,
Black Ops coming out next week.
Black Ops can be the first one. Yeah, right.
And I'm actually tempted in getting that one because of the Battle Royale.
Yeah, we gotta be on Blackout, man. Us 3.
Yeah, I was just talking to Bills about it. I was like, Bills, like, we were talking about it in the last, was it the last podcast? We were just talking off the record. It's like, yo, I'm thinking about double dipping this game because, I mean, I don't know.
You won't have to.
Because, see, the problem is, me and DJ's on PS4. Bills,
you
cross-platform. Wait on it, bro.
PSN caved in this past week about it, so
okay, so
you may not have to double dip.
Okay, so it is they're cross-platforming on that game.
They're doing it on Fortnite.
I know that. I know that. But say I need to find out because if we're gonna play together, I'm down with that.
They'll get to it, and if anything, I'll just get it on PS4.
Yeah, I mean, me and Bills were talking about it in the last podcast. The worst thing, they need to Rockstar need to stay away from crossplay on Grand Theft Auto 5, because if they decide to crossplay that game, we're never going to see it on Grand Theft Auto 6. We're never going to see it because you got to think of that game is already prominent online right now by itself. It's still a top 10 selling game the way it is now. You add crossplay to that where Xbox or PC can play with PS4, Grand Theft Auto 6 will probably never be made.
It's going to be like a Battlefield 4 and Hardline situation.
Yeah. It would never be made because too many people be on that game. Like, too many people be on Grand Theft Auto 5, like, ridiculously if it's crossplay. I don't have anything else to add. What you guys got left before we close? Because we're getting to about the hour mark.
That's why I was tapping this cup. I don't know if anybody was hearing that.
I heard you.
I was looking at it. I was like, I know we're coming up on an hour, so I was like, start tapping that a little bit.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're at the hour right now.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I'll let you close it out first, DJ.
All right. Well, it was great to be back.
Absolutely.
I hope to be back next week. Hopefully, and it was nice to come back and have have somebody to roast because that popped up just one day before returning. So,
just like
not that
times.
I'm always right, exactly. But I don't want to roast everybody every time I appear. I do like discussing the topics, and like I said before, I missed you guys and missed being on the podcast. So,
miss you too, man. This has been mad years, like just pretty much in the YouTube community. It's been like us three.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and this goes back to Madden 15 NWO days.
Yeah, man.
You got people that were originally like part of the whole blow up back in 2011 that have either gone Hollywood or gone underground. So,
yeah, that's true.
That's facts.
I mean, we had to pull one guy out of the underground to get on the podcast a while back. What's up, B5?
Oh my god!
Shout out to B5, man. That's the guy.
Yeah, B5 is a good dude.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man.
Really
One of the best dudes.
He really is. He's still, anytime you want to come on, he can. I mean, he came on before somebody else did.
And that was,
we're not going to talk about that.
Starts with an NY, ends with a Kia.
Notre Dame fan. Just put it out there.
Yeah, that we realized that the question, the answer is that he is black.
No,
man, why you gotta go there, man?
That was a question in the community for many years.
He ain't never gonna come on now.
We've known this for quite some time. For those that are disappointed by the way he has sounded and thought he was somebody else, nope.
And why Kia be taking the MCAS and put I choose not to answer what my race is? Right. I want you to guess.
I'm not even gonna vouch for him to come on the podcast now. Just fuck it. He's not coming. What about you, Bill?
He's an intelligent dude, and he definitely knows football. He's another cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry, NY Kid. When I talked on the phone with most places, they thought I was a different color too. So
yeah, don't feel bad. That they my first name.
They do that to us that sound educated.
Yeah, my first name and my wife's first name just throws everybody off. I mean, we literally had people think that we were a white couple. So when they saw our names, I mean,
be spending money on these games. I couldn't tell either.
Oh, Bills, what you got to say to close out?
Man, just make sure y'all share the podcast if you're enjoying it. Sub to each of our channels, even though me and DJ really don't post anything anymore.
Just sub anyway. Shit,
YouTube is dead.
It really is, man.
It
really is, man. That's why I'm trying to come through on SoundCloud and listen to the podcast. I'm putting something together where you can actually download the podcast, so you don't have to use none of your data on your phone. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bills. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
Nah, go ahead. I mean, it's just that's really what we want. We want to spread as a podcast. I think we have the best sports gaming podcast out there.
Easily. We don't cater to people.
Right, because
we don't cater to people. We don't put a collection box down in the corner of our videos. Please donate. No, we don't do that.
We just ask you to listen. That's all we ask. That's always going to be the case. Now, I do have other things.
Just pay us with your time. That's all we ask.
Now, I will say there's other things in the works. I mean, my lovely wife is actually looking into certain things where you can actually purchase certain things as far as the podcast go. But, I mean, that's far down the road, but we're looking into it. We want to expand. Absolutely want to expand because, like DJ said, YouTube is dying. I mean, I'm putting my little videos on YouTube, and I love the feedback we're getting from the videos and even on this podcast. But there's just nothing here no more. I mean, the monetization is gone. It's so much red tape now with YouTube. There's other avenues that are coming about where we can actually upload in other areas. Some competitors of YouTube are coming up. It's just going to be really interesting to see how that goes. So we're all about expanding, but at the end of the day, your wallets, keep them closed unless if there's something really genuine that's out there that I feel that'll be beneficial to you. We'll never ask you to purchase, time for us to listen, or you're going to get certain access to a podcast or this, that, and the third. Look, we're doing this for fun. We really are.
Yep.
So,
and one last score update. It's 6-0 Capitals.
Damn, y'all running up the score on us too?
Yep, and it's in the third period. It hasn't started yet.
What are we pissed off?
Because Boston is full of racists.
Go Atlanta Thrashers. Yay. That just showed you how far behind I am. Man.
Good God. When's the last time
they're in Winnipeg if you want to play catch up. They're the Winnipeg Jets.
Man, we lost
and they took all the brothers with them too when they left.
we lost like two franchises here. I mean, we were the Atlanta Flames. They went to Calgary.
Yep. Wow, that's impressive. I give you.
I do remember that.
Knowing that.
I do remember that.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I do remember that, but
not a lot of folks know that.
Yeah.
Even hardcore hockey fans don't remember that.
Go Thrashers. Anyway, let's go be the end of the podcast, man. I hope you guys really enjoy it. If you really like what we have, please share it, subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube for the podcast, but definitely, download the SoundCloud app and favorite us on SoundCloud and really listen over there. I'm really looking into getting the download button to work. Right now, there's a little restriction to some things I have to do to get that download button to work. Because if you can download the podcast, you can listen to it anywhere, everywhere. You don't have to keep the YouTube app open, and you don't necessarily need to keep the SoundCloud app open to listen. But still, it still pulls data. If you download it, you don't have to do that. So please go to SoundCloud. The link will be down in the description to catch that. And
look both ways before you post on Twitter.
Oh, definitely. We love you guys, man. Thanks you guys for listening. We're out. Peace.
Take care. Peace.